Welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Rabbit Hole Podcast. I am your host, CSD Fantasy. Hello, Fantasy Faithfuls, and welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Rabbit Hole Podcast. My name is CSD, and I am flanked by the one and only Nick Faber. How are you doing, sir?
I am phenomenal. I am excited. We had a great Halloween week, a great weekend of fantasy football, and week 10 is approaching. So we're getting Kareem Hunt back. We have a slew of injuries, so a lot of guys to make sure you have on your team here. Devin Singletary should be a star moving forward. Finally, thank God. I've been holding on to him for too long now, but I think the time has come. Singletary is about to be a fringe running back one for the rest of the season. So a lot to talk about. I'm ecstatic to be here as always. How are you?
I am fantastic.
I don't think I ever asked you how you are, so I apologize about that.
Oh, no, that's fine. We just assume that I'm doing great, as always.
Right. Well, I do. Yeah.
And I'm doing great, and I'm doing great because today we have an awesome episode for everybody. But as always, feel free to interrupt at any point in the show, right in the live chat here on YouTube. We are here to serve. So, as always, before we get into today's show, I would like to remind you to hit that like button. Please share on social media. It really helps us to get the word out there. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Check out the Patreon page below for exclusive content and personal fantasy projections. And lastly, head over to csdfantasy.com for the latest waiver wire and rest of season rankings. And tomorrow for the score prediction and risk analysis for Week 10. But before we get into the news, I'd like to get into the news right after this, but let's do some shout-outs real quick because we have Mellow Fan joining in straight away, and Shane. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Are you saying Shane?
Shane with S-H-A-N-E. I don't know how the S...
I don't know either. I'm awful at, but I'm trying to give my shout-out. Much love, Mellow Fan. Much love, Shane. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, so let's actually hit those. They have some questions. Let's hit those before we get into the news.
They're wasting no time.
No time at all. We got Mello saying he traded away Brees because he has Aaron Rodgers and Diggs. To me, I am 100% fine with trading away Brees when you have Rodgers.
Yeah, Rodgers he's kind of hit his stride, right?
Right.
And he was doing that without Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams back. What happened last week? Why can't I remember what happened in the Green Bay game? Did Devontae Adams? What? Oh, they lost.
He was back, but they were terrible.
Yeah, that's right. The Chargers whooped him. I was like, why am I not remembering a good game from Devontae Adams? That's right.
Because it wasn't.
Exactly. I think you're fine with Rodgers moving forward. I have him in my big money league. I have him in one of my big leagues, so I'm full confidence with Aaron Rodgers. I have no problem trading with Brees. What did you get in return?
He got Diggs.
Oh, he got Diggs.
Yeah.
Oh, he got Diggs. Oh, he traded away Brees for Rodgers and Diggs?
No, he had Rodgers, but he traded Brees for Diggs.
Okay. That's what I thought.
That's a good trade, though. Like, you got value in a position that he might have been weak in a position that he was very strong in. In a lot of leagues, you can't get that much value for a quarterback.
Most definitely.
A guy in one of my leagues, I beat the shit out of him a couple of weeks ago, and I looked at his bench, and I'm like, why has he so much point on his bench? Yeah, because Matthew Stafford and another quarterback was sitting on his bench, and I'm like, okay, so he had 3 high-scoring quarterbacks of the top 10 that week. That's no value for your fantasy team. So if you can get something like a Stephon Diggs for your second quarterback, I'm all for that.
Almost definitely. I'm fully on the train of having one quarterback on your team from start to finish. I like the one bye week you'll add a second quarterback, but that's it. There is no reason to even have a second quarterback. You're gonna ride and die with whoever you get. And if you get a second one, what you're gonna do is find yourself in headache after headache, always starting the wrong one, even though on paper it should have been the right one, and you're just gonna continuously do that. And it's just gonna be a nightmare. Just go with one and build up the skill players on your bench, and that's what's going to win you the championship. The guy you added in week 6 to be your last roster spot, who's coming alive in week 8. You know what I mean? Like that's what's going to happen. The Devin Singletary.
But I couldn't agree more, and that doesn't make for a good show. Us just sitting here and agreeing, but I could not agree more that if you have a quarterback that, let's say, have 10 startable weeks where he's a top 10 quarterback, if you have 2 of those, and they both have, let's say, 10 games just to make it easy, you will like the risk of you missing a lot of those becomes much higher than if you just have one guy. You're gonna have him startable 10 weeks out of 16
Mm-hmm.
instead of actually having 12 weeks where you can't start your guy because
Mm-hmm.
you keep moving in and out. So you more than like you've doubled your chances of being unusable.
Yep, the odds tell you like get a good one. Or just get someone you trust. It might take the first few. If you're a guy who's going to wait till the end to get a quarterback, you might throw a couple darts out there and not hit the first few weeks. But by week 3 or 4, everyone should have pretty much their starting quarterback until an injury, hurts that. But
Yeah.
For the point in where we're at, it's a great trade. You're getting rid of a quarterback, which means you're down to just one. You can keep Rodgers, let Rodgers be your man, and now you add Stefon Diggs. To be all honest, I don't like Stefon Diggs for the rest of the year, but I get why you did it, and I do think that it should add value to your receivers. So
Yeah, I'm not too high on that, but I think it's a win for him. We got another trade from Shane saying he made a trade and he traded away. I like this one. He traded away Chubb and Robert Woods and got Dalvin Cook. I think that's a fantastic trade, especially with Kareem Hunt coming into the mix. Robert Woods is not what Robert Woods was last year. That's more of uncertainty. Cooper Kupp is the main target on that offense. Dalvin Cook is definitely the main guy in that run offense. If Thielen is gone even more, you're going to see them leaning even more again towards Dalvin Cook and less on that passing game, as Adam Thielen was a big reason they went back to the passing game of him complaining, which I think was justified when you have that much receiving talent. But Dalvin Cook, to me, is going to be better than Chubb and Woods rest of the season.
Yeah, and you always want to get you always want in a trade, you always want to have the best player. You always want to be the guy getting the best player. You don't want to be the guy getting a couple of misfits who hopefully can hit. And so I like Robert Woods actually for the fact with Cooks, just we don't know what's happening. I don't know how long he's out, but I know he's out. I do like Josh Reynolds is a good waiver wire pickup, but I think Robert Woods should get a little bit more of a role, I guess you would say. But I think Chubb might lose a little bit of his role with Kareem Hunt coming back, as you mentioned. I don't know if Hunt's going to like eat into it immensely, but just a little bit, and that might be enough to kind of knock Chubb back a little bit. And then Cook is just on a tear, and knock on wood, hopefully he doesn't tear anything. But if he continues this tear, he's the running back one. So yeah, I like the trade.
2.
What?
Well, you mean running back 1 on the team or running back 1 going forward?
Running back one going forward. I thought you said 2, but I was like, what did you say?
Oh yeah. I was just like Christian McCaffrey.
Well, Christian McCaffrey's pretty good too. Christian McCaffrey's pretty good. For a second, I thought you sneezed, like Achu. And I was,
okay. No. I was just like,
that's this guy. God bless you.
To me, it was more like, aren't you forgetting somebody?
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey's pretty good. That's right. I did forget about him.
He's pretty decent, I've heard. I just want to shout out Poker Lemon for joining, and Barcelone Cologne is an athlete joining in. It's a fantastic name. I'll see your questions, and we'll get to them right after the news. The news rundown, we have a couple of things to hit before we get on with today's questions. First off, we have AJ Green might make a debut against the Los Angeles Rams this week. Any feelings whatsoever for this?
Yeah, I mean, he's a must start. I mean, unless you're set at wide receiver position, you got, excuse me, Amari Cooper, Mike Evans, and Michael Thomas because you just drafted wide receiver to start your league, and that's just what you're riding. You're probably gonna be starting AJ Green. I think it's not gonna be it's definitely not the worst matchup that you can have. The Rams have allowed enough points to receivers to verify putting AJ Green back in your lineup. Ryan Finley's starting. There isn't a lot of game film on him. You always kind of want to have that quarterback in that first game just because he might come out and surprise some people, pull up Matt Flynn or this kind of stuff where you just never would expect it. And he'll never do it again. But that week 1, while they don't have a ton of film on him in the pros, then they could kind of catch him by surprise. Zach Taylor's a good enough play caller to do that. So I think that AJ Green is a must start if he's going. And even if they say limited, I'm still probably riding with him over a lot of other guys, I guess.
Yeah. No, I'm I have my questions about that offense right now.
For sure.
We've talked a lot of Bengals, so I wanted to keep this one brief because it's been a hot topic of ours since we were so excited before all the injuries started to hit, and then it just went down the drain. Even before the season got going, it actually went down the drain sometime in June. No, when did it turn shit?
Well, I mean, they drafted what's his name, Jonah Williams, and he went down in like June, and that was just the start of the end right there,
Yeah.
the beginning of the end.
I think if you drafted AJ, you hopefully went hard running back and went on like, oh, let me pick up Green and hopefully he can come in and be a starter for me at wide receiver eventually, and I can kind of stream somebody like you were hoping that would be like MBS, somebody like that you could stream until AJ Green came back.
You pinpointed my team right there.
I think a lot of people did that though, like thinking MBS is going to be good, he can hold me over until AJ Green. I can maybe toss in Golden Tate when he comes in because I got him cheap, something like that. Golden Tate actually playing pretty well, but like, oh, I can toss him MBS, Marvin Jones, Golden Tate, and then Green comes in and he's my starter for the end of the year. I'm not so sure he's going to be that great, but I think if you had that in mind and your picks haven't panned out, you kind of, like you said, he becomes a must start. Other wide receivers that I feel are going to stick exactly where they are and go neither up or down is because Cam is out for the season. So you have DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, and Greg Olsen. Not that he's a receiver, but he's a pass catcher. I feel like that team is just all about CMC and nothing else. Does the knowledge that Cam is out for the rest of the season change your mind about any of these pass catchers?
No, I didn't really foresee him coming back anyway. So in my head, I've been just assuming it was going to be Kyle Allen for the rest of the year. Now that we've got the confirmation about it, it doesn't do anything more than continue to lower their stock. And they were fringe roster worthy players at best. With maybe the hope that Cam was coming back. Now that Cam's not coming back, maybe you can finally just 86 him, and maybe you want to go after a guy like James Washington, who's starting to step up a little bit and had an all right day, and they got kind of a cake schedule moving forward. So you might like want to just kind of target those guys who have a little bit more of an upside. You might miss out on 1 week from both DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel separately, but I don't think you're going to get any consistency out of them.
No, me neither, and I've never been a proponent of drafting either one of them, even with Cam.
Yeah.
So I was probably even less excited if he were to come back.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, he looked awful when he was playing. Like, his time in Carolina is done. His time in the NFL is possibly done. I've said this on a podcast before, and I question if Cam Newton's ever going to be anything in the NFL anymore. More than someone that a team signs so they can sell jerseys and they can sell the fact that they have an ex-MVP on their team and they're trying and this and that. But really, they're not trying. They're just trying to sell money. They're trying to sell jerseys. They're just trying to make money. Like, they're just trying to sell Newton. So that's pretty much what Cam Newton's career, in my opinion, is going to be for the rest of it.
Yeah, and it's sad. He was such a fun guy to watch, but he just does not look happy.
No,
even when he's playing. And it's like, I feel like Andrew Luck sort of set a precedent of, if you're not happy and your body hurts, get the F out because it's not going to get better.
I don't see Cam Newton doing that, though. I think Cam Newton will overstay his welcome.
Sort of the RG3 situation.
That's a pretty good comparison. The day that Cam Newton becomes a backup is going to be a real test for him. I don't know if he can handle that, but I do think he's going to overstay. So maybe somewhat like the RG3 scenario.
I don't see him as a backup. That's why
I don't think he'll ever be a backup.
Yeah, like, I think he's the type that'd rather quit. Like, oh, I'm going to be backup to Dak Prescott so they can sell some Cam jerseys.
See, I don't think RG3 is overstaying his welcome. I think Cam Newton's going to overstay his welcome because he's going to demand starting gigs. I think he's going to be more the Sam Bradford.
Oh, that's a good one. That's
how he's going to overstay his welcome. Just go from team to team and be bad, and that's just the end of it.
Yeah, and people are like, we can fix him.
Yeah, he'll be the transition quarterback. He'll be the quarterback that gets you to the rookie that you just drafted.
Oh, that's sad. If that's
That's
the
tough.
case, that's gonna be he's been such a joy to watch. Another guy who's a joy to watch when he's on point early in his career is Patrick Mahomes, and he is slated to be back in action. He was working out. Uh, to me, that adds a little value to a guy that I picked up, but it adds more value to him next year, in my opinion. And McCole Hardman, I think he's been terrible without Mahomes. Barely like putting up points. With Mahomes, he was actually usable in a couple of weeks, I believe two. But without him, he's been just a non-factor. You have Tyreek Hill back. I think that puts Mahomes as, to me at least, QB5 right away back from injury moving forward.
That's underselling it. Mahomes is like a top two quarterback just every week. There's especially with Tyreek Hill back. Like Mahomes played with Tyreek Hill how many times this year?
Zero.
Once,
Did they play once? Yeah, maybe once.
he started the season, but he didn't finish the game. Obviously, Tyreek didn't finish the game, so I don't know. But regardless, now that you have Tyreek back, and Tyreek looks in prime form, He looks A1 right now. I just made a trade 2 weeks ago. I traded Keenan Allen and Damian Williams for Tyreek Hill.
That's veto people. No, don't do that.
No, we don't veto. No, but like the guy was like, he needed running back help. So
yeah,
he went with Damian and he got lucky. I mean, obviously Damian put up 150 yards last week, got that 91-yard scamper, and it benefited him last week, but got Tyreek Hill. So I'm just ecstatic. I'm ecstatic that Pat Mahomes is coming back, and I guarantee he's going to be a top 5 quarterback, and I think he'll be a top 2 quarterback.
I think I have Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson and Watson above him still.
That's so many fun quarterbacks. Oh.
Yeah. And to me, if you look at my rest of season rankings from yesterday with the quarterbacks, I actually have Dak Prescott above him as well, just for fantasy purposes. He runs in so many touchdowns, which is amazing. And I feel like he's one of those players that he plays on a team that nobody really... I mean, they have Zeke and Amari, so people kind of forget how valuable Dak's been for fantasy for a lot of people. And he's got a good schedule coming up as well. Is nothing terrible about... Well...
Are we talking about Dak Prescott right now?
He's got a terrible schedule, I mean. But he's got some... Yeah, I was going to say terrible schedule. But Mahomes is just a few spots better. And it's been more highs and lows with Mahomes compared to Dak, who's been... Even when he's been terrible, he's still put up
all right,
points.
Hold the show. You're trying to tell me that Dak Prescott's going to get more points than Pat Mahomes for the rest of the season?
Yes. Let's do it.
Let's
do it. Let's do it.
That's really tough, dude. What are we betting on this one? Because I'll take Pat Mahomes all day. I don't want to do a slap bet. Damn it.
$10.
$10. I like it. Let's get a running tab going. All right, $10. We'll get a little ticker like that goes nicks up $10 after the season.
Mahomes versus Dak, rest of season after week 9. Bam.
Correct. Boom.
If Mahomes or Dak, what do we do about injuries?
Injuries X-nays everything. It just 86 is the whole bet. Like he can't. This is just if they both are healthy. If a team sits one like Pat Mahomes week 17, but Dallas plays Dak, that's fair game.
Do you care about week 17 though?
No. I didn't know if you went to week 17. The only way that he was gonna maybe do it was week 17 against Washington. But
yeah, let's do after week 9 to week 16.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So everyone listening, throw us in what you think. Which side are you on? Hashtag Faber. Hashtag Carl. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's get some comments in. We have a lot of people joining in. We also have, this is fun, we got a new guy coming in, Big House 2K. Hi guys, new sub. Do you give fantasy start sit advice live? Yes sir, we do.
Please.
We do it right here on this show.
You might be part of Nick's picks.
Oh, that would be awesome. Put in Big House. You're gonna get a perfect opportunity. If you have 3 start sit questions for this week, put all 3 of them in as 3 different comments, and you'll be featured in Nick's picks this week. and we'll dissect all your start sit questions. Also, you can check out this live stream 12 p.m. Eastern time here on Sundays, where I do start sit live for 1 hour every Sunday, where it's just a bunch of questions coming in. It's fast paced. We're doing it live as always. While you get your questions in, I'm gonna go back and take some questions and shout out Rock Out as well. Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. But I know I need to scroll back and look at Mellofan who asks about Sanu. Mohamed Sanu, who went to the New England Patriots and made the fantastic move of going from 1-7 to 8-0 and then losing a game. But still, Mohamed Sanu, let me get
losing the game. But 14 targets.
Yeah, that was crazy. He's on a bye week now.
Yeah, peppered him.
I'm trying to get my numbers up.
And then coming up, he's got Philly, then Dallas, but then Houston. Those are two of the most easy passing defenses there is. You know that's how Bill Belichick's going to scheme up to win those games. Beat Philly, beat Houston by throwing the ball. And Mohamed Sanu is just going to continue to get 15 targets, and he's going to be the fantasy football hero.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fantastic in PPR. Fantastic.
Real quick, we have a live incoming update. The Detroit Pistons won. Ooh. For all my basketball fans.
And I'm gonna have to revoke Mellofan's moderator status because he just agreed with you on Mahomes.
Yes, good man.
What else do we have? We have Shane asking about Mark Ingram or Tevin Coleman in PPR for Week 10. I kinda have I think I know who I'm picking.
Yeah, that's a good question. You got to go with any running back that plays Cincinnati is the guy you want to go for.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking too. And he has a fantastic ceiling this week and great boom chance. Fantastic opponent, just fantastic opponent.
Cincinnati is allowing 25 points to the running back position per game, the second most in the NFL. Who's the first most?
It's not the Carolina Panthers.
The Detroit Lions, baby. 26.
If you would, who are they playing this week, Detroit?
Chicago. David Montgomery.
Let's bring that up. Yeah, they're. If you adjust for the last 3 weeks, Detroit is only second worst.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Okay.
Improvement, Matt Patricia. Improvement.
Who's the worst if we adjust for that? That is the Carolina Panthers. Okay. So I wasn't too wrong. But that's with my rankings adjusting for the last 3 weeks. But
as much as I like Tevin Coleman, going up against Seattle is kind of run of the mill, maybe a little bit on the worst end for allowing points to the running back position, but kind of just right in the middle. I'm gonna go again with Mark Ingram against Cincinnati for sure.
Yeah, and a great boom chance for Ingram and a really safe floor. Compared to Tevin Coleman with only 2.2 points for him and 5.1 for Ingram. So that's to me, that sets them apart because there's so many heads on that running beast in San Francisco. Compared to Mark Ingram getting the goal line carries. He has to share somewhat with what's his name? Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, yeah, for sure. Gus Edwards always loves to sneak in there for a few, and Justice Hill I saw grab a couple carries, but it's the Mark Ingram. Like I know Mark Ingram's, his ceiling might not be as big as Tevin Coleman's, like in fantasy.
It's about 2 point difference. Yeah.
Yeah, and people can see like they're fresh off the Tevin Coleman 4 touchdown game a couple weeks ago, so they have that in their mind. Mark Ingram has gotten a 3 touchdown game a few times, but they think then they're like, okay, well, just go with Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
Baltimore should get a heavy lead. I know, like last game that these two played, it was the Baltimore heavy all game. The scores reflected 23-17, but Cincinnati was not in it the whole way. They only had a return touchdown to start the game. No offense until the final 2-minute drive. They scored a touchdown, tried an onside kick. It was all running. It's all going to be Mark Ingram. I like him to have at least 2 touchdowns and 80 yards.
Barcelona Cologne is an athlete asks what we think about Nick Chubb now that Kareem Hunt is back. And I'd say that lowers. We talked about this last week, I believe, a little bit, and we said we lowered Chubb on our rankings, but we still had him. Did we have him top? I believe we had him top 10 at least. Definitely, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's still a running back one. But I do think that Hunt's gonna jump in and take a few carries for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't see Nick Chubb declining more than a couple spots. So yeah. I mean, I still like him.
I think he's about to finish. I think he's about to finish 9 this year. I think Elliott overtakes him. I think Josh Jacobs overtakes him with a fantastic schedule he got going on. And potentially, he might finish 8 or 9.
I love me some Josh Jacobs.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to trade for him everywhere. It's not working out.
Knock on wood if you're with me.
Let's do it. We got Mellofan again asking if Zach Pascal, no idea, versus Miami.
I say Pascal.
Zach Pascal versus Miami, or Golden Tate versus Jets, or Freeman and Jalen. Oh, this is a lot. Zach Pascal versus Miami, or Golden Tate versus
Let's break it down to a playoff. So let's do the receivers versus receivers and the running backs versus running backs, eh?
That sounds good. So we got Pascal versus Tate, or Freeman versus Samuels.
Freeman versus Samuels. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna I'm gonna stall here for 1 second. Perfect. And I'm just gonna talk about how Miami got their first victory. Poor Jets. That's unbelievable.
I thought it was.
What? Miami?
I thought they beat the Redskins. Am I tripping?
Yeah, Redskins won.
Yeah, the Redskins won.
But Cincinnati still can go 0-16. It was Pascal and who?
Golden Tate, and I can jump in while you're stalling and say,
please do,
and say that I prefer Pascal versus Miami with 9.7 points. He does have a 50% risk, but I'm fine with that. For a receiver, anything under 60 when your projection is almost double-digit points is fine. 17-point ceiling versus Golden Tate's 12.8. That's a pretty big difference of 4 points. The floor is only 1 point difference compared to a ceiling. That's 4 point difference, so it's a much bigger upside with Zach Pascal compared to Golden Tate's floor. 6.7 points projection versus the 4th best opponent for a wide receiver in the Jets, and the 6th best right now for Pascal with the Dolphins. So both have really easy opponents, but I think Pascal has the better situation, especially if Brissett plays.
Especially if Brissett plays. Brissett playing is the big thing. If Brissett doesn't play, give me Tate all day.
Yeah.
If he does play, screw it. I'll go Tate. I'll go opposite of you. Give me Tate this week. I like them both. I don't think you're going to go wrong, to be all honest. I get the luxury of wanting to start someone against Miami, but the Jets secondary has been just as bad. And in Miami, if they can get a lead, which, I mean, they can, then all of a sudden it becomes a running game. So give me
Tate.
Sure, I don't care.
I'm going Pascal, and then I'm going Devonta Freeman, even though I hate both of these picks.
Forgot about this one. Okay, what was it? Devonta
Freeman or Jalen Samuels, and I don't want anything to do with either of them.
I don't mind Jalen Samuels. I mean, he didn't look good running, obviously, but caught 12 balls or 15 balls, 25 balls, however many he did. So I definitely don't mind that, but it's hard to put your trust in that. It's not going to be like a James White type where he's going to get that all the time. I'm going to go with Freeman. No, I'm not. I'm going to go Freeman.
I got Freeman for 6.5 points, and I'm still preferring him over Samuels.
Give me Samuels in a PPR. Give me Freeman in a non.
I am down with that.
Sounds good.
We got Walkout before we get to Big House's Nick's picks questions. So we got Damian Williams or Tyrell Williams or Zach Pascal. So with Damian Williams, Tyrell Williams, or Zach Pascal. Again, Zach. Tyrell Williams, Damian Williams, and something has happened to Tyrell Williams in my projections. I don't know what. So his projection is not showing up for me. So please stall, Nick.
Well, okay, I'll just jump right in and answer this question. I don't want Damian Williams against Tennessee. I know he broke out. It does seem like he's going to be the running back moving forward, though, to be all honest, over McCoy. I do like him sneaky, and that might just be a little biased because I've liked him ever since the beginning of the season, and I'm trying to just like kind of save face a little bit. So I'm hoping he saves my face a little. But I don't want to start him against Tennessee. I do like Tyrell against the Chargers defense. Like I think that should be a fairly favorable matchup for him. And the last guy we talked about, or Pascal though, against Miami, as much as I went with Tate over Pascal, I'm gonna go with Pascal over both of these guys. Give me Zach. Like again, if Brissett plays, and that's the big. I don't want Hoyer throwing to him. If Hoyer starts, then give me Tyrell. But if you give me Brissett, give me Pascal. I mean, at this point, you gotta go crazy. This is the matchup based weeks here. You're not gonna start your guys just because it's your guy. You're gonna start the best players you can because every single win matters right now. There is no loss. A loss can separate you from the first to the third position, and that's a bye week right there. That can separate you from the fifth to the seventh position, and that's the playoffs right there. So you gotta just fucking go crazy right now. Give me Zach Pascal.
I'll see what's happened with my rankings. I still like in a PPR league Tyrell Williams.
You like Tyrell? I get it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his, even though I can't even get my projections up for him because there's been an error with Oakland. I remember my
first podcast.
What happened?
I was just joking, man. Get your shit together over there.
Yeah, no, it's apparently something with the entire wide receiver core for Oakland. They're just gone.
This is an omen.
This is terrible.
It's either gonna mean that this is a metaphor where the Oakland receivers are just not even gonna show up to the game, or this is like telling you the world can't even like understand what's going to happen. It's going to be so good. So start every single one of them, Hunter Renfrow included. It's going to be one of the two.
Yeah, but is it coming up? Come on, computer.
You've stalled too long. I've
stalled too long. Next question. That's correct. So we got Big House, who is a new sub to this channel, and we're going to give him a proper welcome with doing Knicks picks. So we're gonna have me writing down all these questions. It's gonna be two players against the. Oh, that's freaking awesome! If you're watching, you can see Nick with a fantastic piece of eyewear.
Yes, sir. I gotta wear these for the whole segment, so hopefully no one is. I'll turn these off. All right. I don't.
And it's big cost too. When
you see like blinking lights and you have a seizure, but.
Before we get into these, let's look at Nick's picks from last week. We got Darren Fells versus Jason Witten. Nick picked Fells, so that's correct.
1 catch, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. That's all you need.
We had Josh Allen versus Jimmy Garoppolo, and Nick picked Allen. And who would have thought that Jimmy G would finally show out?
Jimmy G came to the play
out of nowhere. And Robbie Anderson versus John Brown. You had Anderson, and he did nothing.
That's that Miami defense. They'll trick you sometimes.
And I was very adamant about going John Brown, and so we actually made a head-to-head bet on that one as well, and I won that one. But then you said David Montgomery over Philip Lindsay, and you beat me one spot, I believe.
That's right.
Let's see. I believe
500.
No, Lindsay was 2 spots. Damn it.
Yeah.
It was about 4 points, so it was pretty big. We got a couple here from Big Hoss 2K. Pick a flex. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit bigger than Nick's picks. We usually do 2 players at the same time. With David Johnson or Jalen Samuels?
David Johnson or Jalen Samuels. This is one of the Knicks picks?
Yes, sir. So he has a lot of players.
What?
He has a lot of players, but I'm picking 2 at a time.
Heard. Okay. And this was David Johnson or who?
Or Jalen Samuels.
Give me... Oh, man, I hope David Johnson learned something from watching Chase Edmonds and Kenyon Drake. This is a good one. This is a good one. I'm stalling for 5 seconds.
Half-point PPR, does that help?
Half-point, that does help. Half-point PPR. Let's go with... Damn it, dude. Man, this is a good one. Go David Johnson. Let's go David Johnson.
Let's see what I got. David Johnson or Jalen Samuels. This is yeah, it's super close. Give me David Johnson as well.
Or,
It's really freaking close because that's a terrible matchup. DJ, Latavius Murray versus Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams.
I think I'm gonna agree with you.
Kamara's coming. Like, I don't know.
I've ranked him very high lately.
Yeah.
And that's the best opponent for running backs right now, like I said before, with Carolina. Half-point PPR. Give me Latavius Murray.
You crazy.
I got it for
like
15
you, man,
points.
but you're crazy, dude.
I got it for 15 points. I like Jamal Williams, but I'm going Latavius Murray with a little bit more upside. I'm putting it down for us as well to follow up what we say. It's currently 4-2 to me in our seasonal, which is pretty decent, I feel.
Oh, okay, calm down. Calm down.
And lastly, you picked Jamal. The last Nick picks. Let's see. There was a bunch of tight ends joining in, so I will change it up and do a defensive one with the 49ers or Arizona Cardinals.
Defense?
Yes, sir.
I'll take San Francisco.
Yeah, that's almost too easy.
It's way too easy. Actually, it's not, though, because it's Russell Wilson, Seattle.
No,
He's
that
not
is true.
picks. And Jameis Winston easily can throw 4 picks to Arizona. It's actually like a pretty good question. I don't mind it, but I'm still gonna go with San Francisco. Just gonna keep riding the hot hand right now.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I was just saying how it's time to get cute because it's getting time, but don't get too cute with this one.
No, go with the stronger defense.
Yeah, most definitely. Nick's picks. Put them in the book.
We got a tight end question. Ertz is on a bye week. Gesicki, Doyle, McDonald, or Jared Cook? For me, it's Jack Doyle.
Give me Jared Cook. Oh, wait. Jack Doyle. I didn't hear that name.
Yeah, Jack Doyle.
Most definitely Jack Doyle.
Jack Doyle. And Mello fan says he's a Knicks fan. I didn't realize.
Go Pistons. We just beat the Knicks by 20.
And Big Hoss, I see your question on AJ Green. We talked about him earlier in the show, so if you want to go back and listen to that part, it's pretty early.
We started the show with, right?
Yeah, it's like 3 minutes in.
Yeah.
Is Brandon Cooks droppable?
Well, is he? Is he even coming back? I'll tell you what, I'm picking up Josh Reynolds everywhere I can.
Yeah. I'm worried about his health.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to say he's droppable right now because I don't have the confirmation to say that. I don't have the intel like that. Unfortunately, the intel. I mean, but he's right there, man.
He's on the edge. If you have strong wide receivers and you need to put something in, you can. Did somebody win?
No, you just said he's on the edge, so I started singing he's on the
edge. And I just want to clarify to Chauncey TV, welcome to the show as always. CSD won the Robbie Anderson versus Robbie Foster half-point PPR battle advice. Oh, okay. It was another one, Robbie Anderson versus, I thought it was John Brown.
Now I see how you're winning this.
I don't even know who Robbie Foster is.
In the results.
I don't even know who Robbie Foster is.
Reuben Foster from Buffalo?
Makes no sense.
I don't know.
Is Rafael Markel joins the stream as well. Welcome to the show. Is Coleman a start this week or is Crowder better? Ooh, Jamison Crowder or Tevin Coleman.
Wow, that's such a good one. I'm sorry that you have to battle this, but I'm happy that you're here asking for our help to help you guide you to the way to go. I really like Jamison Crowder, but it's hard to start him. Is it PPR?
Rafael, can you clarify if it's PPR or if it's standard scoring? And we can ask if the Colts are a streamer defense this week in the meantime.
Most definitely, right?
Yeah. I can't spell Indianapolis, apparently. Indianapolis. Colts. Yes, they are a streamer. I'm not too excited, though.
Why? They're playing Miami.
They're playing Miami, but they have not been too good themselves.
Well,
Miami races people to about 10.3 points, which is good. But in the end,
it's streamable. It's
yeah,
streamable.
it's streamable. But the Colts have been. Have they reached that a single time this year?
Well,
They
just
haven't
wait.
played the Dolphins.
Miami is the game where you right your ship. You know, that's the game where you get everything lined up and you get ready for your run here.
Tell
So this
that to the
is the
Jets.
speaking game. Well, the Jets are going south fast, so I don't know what to tell them. But I absolutely like the Colts as a
Yeah.
streamer defense. I like them for a good 15 points this week.
15, I would say 9.
I'm going 15. I like them high.
Okay, that's a big difference. Yeah, and Sean C clarifies that he meant John Brown. I know. We got we see it's PPR with the Tevin Coleman or Jamison Crowder.
PPR. Tevin Coleman, Jamison Crowder. Give me Coleman.
Give me Coleman as well. I've Crowder pretty highly ranked in PPR, but
Yep.
I don't have him for a lot of yards, which is an issue. I have Tevin Coleman for 12.9 points and 2 receptions, which is going to be fine to outscore Crowder, even if Crowder catches 6.
Yeah.
So I would definitely go Tevin Coleman.
I agree.
What else do we have? We got Chauncey says pick 2, Melvin Gordon, Devin Singletary, Devontae Freeman, half-point PPR. Okay, Melvin Gordon, Devin Singletary, and Devonta Freeman. I don't even have to look to say that I don't want Devonta Freeman.
Yeah, 100%. Give me Gordon. Give me Singletary.
Yeah, I don't even need to check my rankings. I know that one.
Yeah.
Jared Cook, Jimmy Graham, or Jonnu Smith in PPR. That one I do have to check.
All right, Jimmy Graham, Jared Cook,
and Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu Smith
in PPR.
In PPR. All right, yeah, that's a good one. Let me jump through here and figure out what's going on here.
Atlanta is a good matchup for tight ends. 12th best.
I know that's why I liked him over Jack, or I like him right behind Jack Doyle in the other one.
Yeah.
I really do like that. Yeah. To be all honest, of all these guys though, I'm. Yeah, you got to go with Cook in my opinion, right? I'm going with Cook.
In PPR,
yeah,
you kind of have to because the other ones are so terrible.
No. Tennessee's gonna try to win the ball with Derrick Henry. You got to beat Kansas City by running the ball and trying to win with time of possession. If Kansas City starts to blow out, you could see Jonnu Smith get a few receptions, but at that point, Tannehill's just gonna be pushing it to the receivers. He's not gonna worry about his tight end. Obviously, we like Cook playing against Atlanta. It's a good matchup for him. And then Jimmy Graham going up against Carolina. It's hard for me to buy into Jimmy at any time,
especially in PPR.
Especially PPR. So yeah.
Now I think Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs are going to be my go-to running backs in DFS this week.
Yeah, I love it. Give me Josh Jacobs all day long.
Okay, perfect. We're gonna move over to. This is a terrible segue, but we're gonna move over to the weekly topic. The weekly topic is going to be a discussion regarding, if I can find it, running back rest of season rankings. And we talked a little bit about my quarterback rankings earlier. We talked about the wide receiver rankings last week. But for running backs, we talked about that just a little bit early on with Dalvin Cook and Christian McCaffrey. And you said Dalvin Cook is RB1 moving forward. Do you stick by that, or would you make a change for Christian McCaffrey? Even with McCaffrey having a terrible schedule versus Dalvin Cook's 10th best.
Rest the season?
Rest the season. Not including week 17.
And not including the first 9 weeks?
Yeah, just who you want moving forward.
Christian McCaffrey because Cook has a bye week.
Smart man. Aaron Jones or Nick Chubb?
Aaron Jones or Nick Chubb? That's a pretty darn good one. Again, you're looking at a bye week for Carolina or for Green Bay, but Nick Chubb does get Buffalo, but then a pretty easy schedule following him. Give me Nick Chubb.
I got Aaron Jones. Just he has such an easy schedule moving forward.
You don't think Nick Chubb's isn't easy?
Not as easy as Aaron Jones, in my opinion. And it's like I have Aaron Jones' schedule as the third easiest versus Nick Chubb just 16.
Okay.
And then
I get worried about you got a matchup with San Francisco, a matchup against Minnesota in week 16, where Cleveland, you got Buffalo week 10, but then you got Miami, you got Cincinnati, Arizona. I don't know. I feel like the
Minnesota one is concerning. Which one was the other one? San Francisco. Yeah. Those are like they're top.
That's really about it. You got Carolina, then you got Giants, Washington, Chicago for sure.
Yeah.
Good match.
No, it's
give me Chubb.
Chubb, and I'm going Aaron Jones for the rest of the season. Somebody like we've talked about a lot is Josh Jacobs. I have him 8th, right behind Saquon Barkley. Saquon actually this rankings was done before Monday Night Football. Saquon looked iffy.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit worried that I have Saquon too high as 7th.
He's got a real nice schedule,
Yeah.
but he does play Philly twice, and one of them being week 17. That's not the best, but yeah, I mean, I'd rather have Josh Jacobs rest of the season, to be all honest.
Yeah, let me see where...
I can't really say that without, like, wincing, but it's true.
No, and Josh, like, I'm looking into Josh Jacobs later on in the week, and he's had the third most amount of red zone carries of, like, percentages of any team. It's only Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette that have more red zone carries of the actual amount of carries. So he doesn't really share red zone carries. I believe he has like 83% of all red zone carries on his team, which is insane.
Yeah.
McCaffrey is in the 90s, and Fournette, I believe, is 87, but they don't end up in the red zone that often. So Josh Jacobs actually ends up in the red zone. He has Cincinnati, the Jets, Kansas City.
Yes, sir. He's got a great slew right there. That's the best.
Yeah, and then the Chargers in week 16.
Chargers twice next week, or this week and week 16. So
yeah, I think he's a fantastic player to have moving forward. He's one of my absolute favorites, and I keep bringing that up.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Tevin Coleman he's sneaking in on in my top 10. How do you feel about that?
It just worries me with like Breida there. I don't know. I like Tevin Coleman a lot. Yeah, Seattle, Arizona, Green Bay, Baltimore, New Orleans, Atlanta, Rams, Seattle. That's not the worst schedule moving forward for him. It's going to be tough to run up against Philly. He's got a bye week in 2 weeks, Philly in 3 weeks, Minnie in 4 weeks. It's going to be a tough slew of running right there. But once you get past that for 14, 15, 16, Rams, Panthers, Cardinals, he should be able to help you out in some playoff games.
That playoff, that's where it looks really nice.
Right, exactly.
That's what I'm looking at. Somebody who I've always been a fan of, but he's sort of struggled this year, and I wasn't expecting that. But it's also coming back to how terrible his team is Philip Lindsay. I have him at 15 now, which it just hurts me to see him that far down, and especially as he has in my rankings the best schedule moving forward.
He absolutely has a great schedule moving forward. It really stinks that they just want to keep pushing Royce Freeman in there. If it was just Philip Lindsay the whole time, it wouldn't matter if Flacco was in there, Brandon Allen was in there, Drew Lock was in there, John Elway was in there. It wouldn't matter. Philip Lindsay would be a phenomenal running back. However, because he's straight up 50-50 splitting it with Royce, receptions, carries, yards, all this, maybe not yards, but receptions, carries, it just takes away from the potential that he has. I think 15 is like fair. I would probably move him up a little bit just because that schedule is very nice. And in those back ends, that back end of the schedule, Who knows who's going to be at quarterback, meaning they could be going running back heavy.
and especially like you got Houston, KC, and Detroit in that playoffs, which is just gold,
Mm.
fantasy gold
Yes,
to
sir.
keep Philip Lindsay on your team.
Yes, sir.
It's a fantastic pick to have, but he does have a bye, and that sort of that impacts his ranking a little bit, and
Most of
also the quarterback situation.
Yep.
Uh, I'm I've been another guy I'm been extremely high on, but I had to put him a little lower than I was expecting as well. He does have the 18th best schedule, so not extremely easy. Is Mark Ingram? He's he's been great, but I don't think he's gonna be better than top 12 moving forward.
No, I think he's going to be very good this week against Cincinnati, as we
Yes,
mentioned, and even next week against Houston, he could see a little bit another good game. But he's going to have the Rams, he's going to have the Niners, the Bills, the Jets, the Browns. I'm just Mark Ingram isn't the guy that they're trying to give 45 carries a game to
yeah,
anymore. This guy right now is the guy they need for the playoffs. They understand they have a playoff caliber team. They're trying to make it there, and they're trying to do that smartly and be able to preserve a few touches here and there for Mark. So I like Ingram. I just don't love him rest of season. I do like him this week and maybe next week as well, though.
yeah, and it's fun that you bring that up because that's something I have almost exactly what you were saying perfectly fits Alvin Kamara in my mind. He's been hurt. He's coming back. Are they really gonna run that guy into the ground before the playoffs? I don't see him
Yeah.
being more than top 13 when he comes back. I'm even hesitant to put in that, but he does have a nice schedule, and he still is on a baller team when it comes to run blocking. Holy crap, they
Yeah.
can run block for anybody right now.
I think you're pretty low on him. I'd rather have him than a few of these other guys. Like it's still Alvin Kamara, and if he is healthy, we saw what Latavius Murray could do behind this offensive line. I understand where you're saying they're not going to run him a lot, but he didn't need a lot of touches to be as successful as he was in the past few years.
That's
So
true.
though he's injured, I don't think that's going to hinder him too much. I think they've been extremely cautious with him because they know they're going to make a playoff run. But I think they're ready for him now, and I think he's ready for the field now. And I think we're going to see a top 5, top 6 Alvin Kamara for the rest of the season.
And lastly, I wanna talk about is Derrick Henry, who I'm usually really anti, but I think he's done a good job of
Yeah.
raising his floor this year, which usually has been his problem. He's been a high ceiling, low floor guy, which is extremely annoying in seasonal fantasy and fantastic when you pick those games in DFS. But for seasonal, it can usually kill your season if your star running back scores 2 points 3 weeks in a row and then has a 45-point game, which helps you nothing when the opposing quarterback scores 50. And he does have some tough matchups against New Orleans coming up, Indianapolis, Jacksonville. He does have a bye week, but he does have Kansas City in Week 10, and I think that's the game I'm looking forward to this weekend. Other than that, uh,
My bold call is that Derrick Henry gets less than 75 yards and no touchdowns this week.
less than
Kansas City,
75.
Kansas City Wally Lops Tennessee, 35-8. Ryan Tannehill throws some random ass touchdown to AJ Brown.
I
I don't
kind
like
of
Derrick Henry. I don't like Derrick Henry. I don't like the Titans. I don't like Henry moving forward. Not the best matchups going forward either. In Week 16, you're going to see him against New Orleans. Have fun with that in your championship if you got him.
oh yeah,
I don't like him, man. Try to trade him away right now. Try to get rid of him right now. Get
trade him for
everyone you
Josh
can.
Jacobs
There you go.
or
If you can,
Philip Lindsay.
yeah, Philip Lindsay would be a good. Yeah, absolutely. Or yeah, Lindsay and maybe something else as well. But yeah,
Oh yeah, you can probably you can snag Emmanuel Sanders on that almost,
right.
which
Yeah, ooh, that'd be fun.
fantastic in PPR.
Yes, amen. Looks fast over there in the San Fran offense. Oof, looks good.
Right? No, I'm excited about that. What do you feel? I have Jamal Williams as a top 20 at 17. Is that too high or too low? I've been really impressed with the role he's carved out for himself on that offense.
Yeah, I agree, but it's too risky to think he's going to be a top 24 running back moving forward, meaning he's going to be a running back 1 or 2 moving forward. I can't get behind that, unfortunately.
It's too high for you. I think we're kind of, I don't want to say that we're lacking RB depth, but we sort of are.
It's true. It's true.
Because Carlos Hyde is a top 20 running back. David Montgomery is a top 20 running back, and he's done nothing. People don't even want to start him most weeks.
Right.
Latavius Murray he's 21, which is also like
I'd rather be starting Damian Williams than Jamal Williams.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Rest of season.
Yeah, of course. Like we're talking, who do you rather have on your team moving forward?
Right. Kansas City does have a bye week in week 12. That's kind of tough. Well, Green Bay week 11. Yeah, give me Damian Williams.
Okay. Oh, I don't even think I have him in my top 20, do I?
Yeah, I figured he wouldn't be a guy that you'd have, and I was trying to think of someone, but I think he's going to carve out his role that he had last year at the end of the season in Kansas City, this year at the end of the season in Kansas City.
Is it weird to have Todd Gurley as 20?
It really isn't. Darrell Henderson's seeing way more of the field. He's getting double-digit carries a game. Todd Gurley's barely eclipsing any kind of fantasy relevancy. It's sad, but he's just not the same Todd Gurley.
Yeah, and it's almost the same like we talked earlier about Cam Newton, where it just feels like he's such a joy to watch when he's on his game.
Right.
And you can tell something is off.
Right. Exactly.
It hurts the football heart of, I believe, everybody, even though I'm not like a Rams supporter or sympathizer.
Right.
Or own him in any fantasy league.
Yeah, I don't either. Stan does. Pops does. Pops doesn't want. Or, well, not Cam, but Gurley.
Yeah, of course. But Gurley was one of those players that I had Gurley and James Conner as my and Le'Veon Bell. Try not to draft these guys because it's going to be iffy. Get CMC and Kamara. Now Kamara got hurt, which is unfortunate. But when Ezekiel Elliott sat out, CMC became our highest ranked. I was a little too low on Dalvin Cook. I will admit that.
Yeah, join the club. I was as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
His injury risk was so scary, but I can't let that affect me too much. But sometimes it does go into it, so I didn't get any shares of him actually.
Yeah, I have one, I believe. Which
right.
I got him cheap, really cheap. I'm like, okay, can't pass him up in the fourth.
Right. Oh my God, no.
Yeah. It's insane.
That was dirty.
But no, that's my running back rankings that we've gone over. We had some disagreements on that, and that's always fun to hear somebody else's input. When you're writing articles here on csdfantasy.com, you kind of enter your own echo chamber, and you like to add your own, you listen to your own words a lot of times. So it's always good to get other people's input. And it's been a fun show. We got a lot of questions coming in. We had Mellofan join in. We got Chauncey TV, Rafael Markel, Big Hoss 2K joined in for the first time. It was fantastic to have him come on and do Nick's picks. We got Lockout, and Bartolome Colon is an athlete, and Shane Millis and Poker Lemon, who retracted his message. But he was on here before. It's been a joy as always. But Nick, before we sign off, please let the people know where they can find you.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for all the questions and listening and watching and putting up with my sweet glasses here. But if you are curious on how to follow me at Nick Faber NFL on Twitter. I'm also doing the Daily Blitz podcast at Daily Blitz Pod on Twitter as well. I'm always doing this show, RZR Fantasy Football Podcast at RZR Fantasy NFL on Twitter. If you can keep up and you heard any of that, make sure you go check us out, follow me, ask me all the questions. I'll make sure I answer them.
Fantastic. And you can find more CSD Fantasy content on csdfantasy.com. You can find more video content here on the YouTube channel with a new Fantasy Snapshot video coming out. Probably two, but one will be of Josh Jacobs here on Friday. It will be a new live stream, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday as always. And tomorrow on csdfantasy.com is the score projection and risk analysis with tight end rest of season rankings. Thank you so much for today, Nick. It's been a fantastic show, everybody. Signing off, CSD Fantasy and Nick Faber. See you next time.
Peace.